The president arrived to a spectacular ceremony in a jam-packed hall at the iconic International Conference Center. It was purely a women's empowerment affair, the launch of a 10-year gender policy designed to guide implementation of general welfare of women in both formal and informal settings. President Barrow also witnessed the inauguration of the 17 National Women Council members. Rohiyatu Kar, the permanent secretary for the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, and Ashatu D. Sawane, the outgoing chairperson of the National Women Council, explained the relevance of this policy document, which is said to be central to the welfare of women.
The new policy therefore consolidates the gains made from the previous policy, factoring emerging issues and adequately aligning with the strategic priorities of the Ministry's long-term strategy and investment plan. Whilst the significance and purpose of the national gender policy will be well addressed by incoming speakers, it is important to note that the launch will serve as another milestone in the government's effort to live up to its commitment to the already signed treaties and conventions relating to the protection of the rights and welfare of women.
Your Excellency, you achieved a lot, nationally and internationally. But the latest achievement, sir, was during the non-repeal of the Women's Amendment Act on FGM, which is a milestone, while the whole world was watching during this process. You demonstrated your care. You showed the world what democracy means. Your passion and care for the Gambian woman and the girl child was again reassured.
The initiative was bankrolled by the African Development Bank with a view to uplifting the lives and livelihood of women. Dey Antatal, the National Coordinator, Project Coordination Unit at the Ministry of Finance, delivered a message from the bank.
This policy will undoubtedly act as a catalyst for the Gambia to reduce the gender gaps that persist across various sectors, particularly education, health, and economic empowerment. The African Development Bank is guided by high 5 priorities, which seeks to 1. Light up Africa for Power Africa, Feed Africa, Industrialize Africa, Integrate Africa, and improve the quality of life for the people of Africa.
Diplomats, including the UN Resident Coordinator, Carl Frederick Paul, were in attendance and argued that the policy truly reflects the wishes and aspirations of women across the country.
It is a pleasure to see and to read that the approach taken to learn from the previous policy implemented over the past decade. The careful evaluation of the 2010 to 2030 policy, including its midterm review in 2017, has enabled to build upon successes while addressing gaps and challenges. The extensive consultation with stakeholders across government, civil society, and development partners have ensured that this policy truly reflects the need and aspiration of all Gambians, but particularly of women and girls.
Fatou Kinte is the minister responsible for women affairs. She said the policy is a step further in achieving an inclusive package for women.
One of the core strategic priorities of this policy is the promotion of gender equality and the empowerment of women. The ministry is dedicated to eliminating all forms of discrimination against women and girls and creating an enabling environment where they can thrive, contribute, and lead without barriers. This requires a concerted effort to change discriminatory laws and policies, promote gender-sensitive programming, and build a culture of respect for women's rights across all levels of society.
The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, in a show of solidarity, rose to the podium with strong assurances of his government's commitment to women empowerment.
The policy contains the government's vision and a clearly defined intent to provide women with the relevant rights and opportunities to prosper as equal partners and citizens before the law. I am confident that the effective implementation of the policy will contribute immensely to inclusive social and economic development.
The President said women are important drivers of economic growth, hence the need for a policy to protect and promote their rights.
We recognize women as drivers of sustainable economic growth. For this reason, we have succeeded to a large extent in closing the gender gap at the primary and secondary education levels. And we are determined to attain similar success at our tertiary education level.
Meanwhile, a new chairperson by the name Ramata Gajigo to steer the affairs of the National Women Council in a fresh term. Ebrima Jallow, GRTS News.